Okay, in the meantime, Nita joins us. We can begin the discussion. So, hello everyone. This is Sarika, and I am a partnership analyst at Quill Audits, a leading Web3 cybersecurity firm. And I welcome you all to our X space where we will discuss the experience and challenges for women navigating the Web3 space with our guest speakers, Purva, Aditi, Mehak, and we are still waiting for Nida to join. So, without any further delay, please introduce yourself once, starting with Purva.
Hi everyone. So I'm Purva Chaudhary. I'm currently a master's student in computer science at University of Pittsburgh. I also lead the TPG USA chapter and going to be joining Plume as software engineer.
Great, Purva. Thanks. Aditi, can you continue?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. So this is Aditi. I am right now working as a software developer at a startup called the Social Continent, and I have previously built a TPG Pune community from scratch, and I've also led it for like 1 year. And after that, I joined my job, so I had to step down. So that is about me.
Great. Thanks, Aditi. Matt, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hello everyone. I'm Mehak Kalra. I'm currently a student at IIT Bombay, and I'm founder of Swapso, which is a decentralized edtech platform, an edtech platform that is completely based on Web3. So, in the meanwhile, I will shortly introduce you about how we are working upon it and what are the challenges that we are facing right now. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So, let's begin with some questions and let's see how we can move forward from here and understand how the women are actually shaping the Web3 in their own unique ways. So, with a very basic question, what sparked your interest in Web3 and how did you begin your journey in this space? Mac, can you take this?
Yeah, sure. So basically, like from the initial phase, like as a student, like when I was in 12th, I initially have an interest in entrepreneurship कि यार खुद का कुछ करना है, कुछ impact करना है society में. And I was always fascinated with that edtech, that education industry. Then once after entering into my college, I came to know about Web3, blockchain space and all. During the my first year, I have organized an international blockchain summit with 16 international speakers, and they all helped me together and to understand the space of Web3 appropriately and what are the challenges that the world is facing currently. From that, I begin the journey of Web3. Then I realize the potential of Web3 in the edtech space also, that how we can implement Web3 and give the ownership of various things to the people and how to spread that awareness about the same. So that's how I begin my journey. And then from my first year itself, I have been working on my startup Swapso. So and currently working upon it too. So that's how my journey began of Web3.
Okay, okay, great. So before following the same question to other speakers, Nida is here joined with us. So, hey Nida, can you introduce yourself once?
I'm Neda Ashraf, so currently leading the community in operations in the Phoenix Scale community. And by side, I'm also co-organizer of Polygon Guild Cochin. And other than that, I'm also an engineering student, currently pursuing computer science and engineering in Kerala.
Okay, great. So, yeah, Nida, actually, the question that I was asking earlier with Mac is what sparked your interest in Web3 and how did you actually begin in this crypto space? So, can you also take the same questions and give insight?
Oh, sure. So it was way back in 2022 when I was in the second year of my college. I first got to know about the crypto trading from my friends who used to trade. So that's what when I firstly came into the Web3 space. And during those time, the event meetups was happening. So some of my friends got to attend one meetup, so-called the Solana Hacker House, which held in Bangalore. So for from my perspective, it was the first time we got to hear about the word called hacker houses. So it was very new for us. So when they got to attend such an event, some of the other people were interested in hacker houses, and we thought that we should check on other hacker houses, and if we find one, we should go on for it. And that's what when we searched for different hacker houses and how to attend these hacker houses. And suddenly we got bumped into the TPG Hacker House, which held for the first time in 2022 at Bangalore. So it was very new experience for us. We around 10 women from our college got to enter into that hacker house. It was a 3D program. It was completely a new experience for us. We got to meet some amazing women over there. Basically, in our area, I have seen a huge technical events happening, but for my amazement, the thing was that the entire event, considering all the technical aspect, was completely organized and handled by women. The mentors were women, the organizers were women, the speakers were women. Everyone over there was from the women's side. So it was completely a shock for us because I have seen great events happening, but there is a touch of, like, we can say, there was not a complete, I could not find a complete ratio of women in such events before. So that's when I got more interested into the community called the TPG, which was to build women in Web3. So that's what my first hacker house experience was. And within that 3 days, was very new to Web3. I got to learn about the basics of Solidity. And for my amazement, even I built a smart contract for the first time. So that was my initial state of getting into the Web3 space. And from then, I have been active in communities and so on. So basically, I would say that a great start to such Web3 space or blockchain space would be the communities. From my side, also, it has been the TPG. And other than that, in Kerala itself, I have been very active in Polygon Gilkochi. That was my experience in getting into the blockchain space, I would say.
That sounds quite empowering with the all women space that you entered into this blockchain industry. Amazing. So, Purva, how did you end up here? Like, what interests you the most?
Yeah. So it started actually almost 2 years back when there was first chapter of Summer of Bitcoin, and I was continuously doing open source contributions and programs back then. I was part of Google Summer of Code and all these programs. And then I just saw this Summer of Bitcoin first chapter and I randomly applied for it and I got selected after like selection rounds and everything. And that's when I first got introduced to blockchain through the Summer of Bitcoin. Then couple of months later, I was approached by Nethermind for an internship program. So there I worked on a project called Bob, which was transpiling Solidity to Cairo. And that's when I got a kick of the Web3 and the EVM ecosystem. So I directly went on to Layer 2 projects. So I got curious about what Layer 2 is. Then I enrolled myself to Zero Knowledge University, which was ZK based university teaching ZK snarks and all. And I was among the 1% graduates among them. And I developed a full stack anonymous blogging website. And I decided I want to stay in Web3. So after I got graduated, I was looking for a professor to work under in Web3. So I came in contact with Dr. Pramod Vishwanath from Princeton and Dr. Himanshi Tyagi from ISC Bangalore. And they had a startup called Witness Chain. So there I worked for a year as a blockchain developer. I was working on Solana and EVM based chains both. And then later on, after towards the end of my internship, I had first it was fixed in my mind I want to go for masters. That's why I was working on a professor for a year. Then had there been a program in masters in blockchain, I would have happily applied, but there was not there's not nothing yet, unfortunately. So I applied to masters in computer science. Currently, my thesis is focused on privacy preserving multi-candidate election scheme. And I also came in contact with TPG a year ago, and they also wanted to start in chapter in US. So currently, I lead that too. And fortunately, got an opportunity to speak in ETH Denver 24 in ZK Unleashed event. And yeah, as a passion project, I'm also building Lila Finance. You can check out the Twitter. And it's a fixed rate swap protocol with my colleague from CMU. So both of us are building this protocol and also trying to expand it.
That sounds great, Purva. Thank you for sharing that. Aditi, would you like to add your own experience?
Yeah, sure. So we all have read news about how bullish the 2021 market was, right? So I also used to read news and I started trading crypto around that time. And after 8 to 10 months in 2022, my friend suggested that if you're already doing this, why not just try blockchain development? So that is how I entered the development phase of Web3 and explored Solidity, blockchain basics, the concepts of EVM, and started coding, basically, started building full stack dApps using Solidity and learned front end for that. as a matter of fact. Then I started participating into hackathons, got to know what ETH India is, participated in that, learned quite a lot from that, and later on applied to different hackathons, one small hackathons, and later this year again ETH India. So that is how it has been going into cycles. Yeah, but yeah, the start was from crypto trading.
That sounds like you have some quite good background with the financial instruments.
Somewhat.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the crux of what I could understand was that communities and hackathons are a great way to start switching from Web 2 to Web 3 for not only women, but I guess it's true for all of us that are present here, right? So, yeah, moving forward to the next question, just wanted to get an understanding of what current projects you are working on, what are the things that you are developing in the background. So, if we can get a very brief overview of what you are doing right now, starting from Nida.
Okay. So currently we are working on a project called Justice Protocol, which we started in ETH India 2023. We got to win best project for the network state. So the project is basically holds the idea of the judiciary state of the network state. So basically we do have a lot of cases happening in India, disputed cases. So these cases, the thing with that is that there are no enough time to be solved in the court itself. So how about making it into a decentralized world, bringing it on and solving those dispute cases? So this is what our idea of justice protocol is. So if wanted, we could share the details of our project.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. We'd love to have it for our audience to explore what the Justice Protocol do. But if I'm correct, is it like something DAO? What? How does the background works? Like to solve the dispute cases, as you mentioned.
Okay. So basically, it's not a DAO, it's just a platform. So, a decentralized solution for conflict resolution in network state, which offers a transparent, efficient, and sort of adaptable justice component. So, here in this platform, we can see that anyone who has registered as a lawyer can enter into the platform and then they can apply as a judge for any sort of dispute cases. So using the game theory, we'll be assigning judges to each cases, and here the complete process will be on-chain. And based on that, the process will be taken further in just the digital platform itself.
That's quite interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Nida. What about you, Purva? What are you working on currently?
Yeah, so besides working on my thesis, which I can't speak about much, but it's on privacy preserving multi-candidate election scheme, and it's a bit in the direction of adding a privacy layer to nominate proof of stake kind of consensus. Another passion project that I'm working is on is Lila Finance, which is a fixed rate yield swapping protocol. So it was started a couple of months ago. We went live on Arbitrum and currently have a TVL of 13K. We also participated in the Starknet Hacker House last month in Denver, and we were the finalists there. So we extended it to Starknet and are currently working on some audit changes and trying to get the audit changes mitigated and move forward with fundraising.
Great, great. So you will be like fundraising in next couple of quarters, if I'm correct, right? For your project.
Yeah, yeah, in this quarter.
Okay, okay, okay. That sounds cool. So best of luck for fundraising, Purva. We happy to know about it more if you can share it. So moving on to Mehak, what are you working on?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I'm working on an edtech platform that is based on Web3, as I have mentioned earlier. So its name is Swapso, where we are building a platform that is based on blockchain. So users can buy the courses for a customized time period, as they all have the ownership of the content that they are buying. So they can buy the courses for a time period, let's say 15 days, 20 days, depending upon their requirement. And they can even resell them as we share the NFTs and all for the remaining period. Let's say they have bought it for 2 months and they have completed it in 40 days, then they can resell it for the remaining 20 days to the next user in the marketplace that we are building. And the next user can buy it and they'll get that money back into their wallets. So we are focusing on increasing the drop rates of online education using Web3 and blockchain tech.
Okay,
And
okay.
recently, this idea has been recognized by Startup India also, and we have received the grants by Startup India to work upon it and decentralize education in a better way.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mac, for sharing swaps. It's quite sound interesting for students to onboard there. Maybe we can find a future for that as well. Mhm. Yeah. Moving on to Aditi. Would you like to share some of your projects that you're working on?
Yeah, so majorly I work in a Web3 full-time job. So majorly it is that. Apart from that, I freelance, but unfortunately I do not have any Web3 project right now going on. But I'll tell you about the job that I do in my full-time thing.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, so we are basically building a social app again on blockchain. Yeah, more like not length exactly, not everything is on contracts. We do have decentralized data stores, and yeah, we're trying to simplify basically the social networking side of the blockchain.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that gives an overview. Maybe you can share about the website in the comments below so that our audience can explore that as well.
Okay, sure.
So, great. Yeah, we can move forward to our next question that brings us to the reality of how things are have been in a technological world that and Web3 is no different than that. So, I'd like to ask to all the speakers that have you ever faced any resistance or skepticism from colleagues or peers that are unique to a women in the Web3 community? Anything from your personal experience that you would like to share? Starting from Aditi, you can take it up.
No, actually, I've met quite a few people like this, most of whom I've not seen again. But I've met some amazing people in Web3, and amazing girls and amazing men, women, everyone. And they've all been very helpful to me, and they've all been a huge contributing part of where I am today. So, no, I've not faced any such major resistance.
That sounds cool. So, any of other speakers that would like to take this question forward if they have faced anything similar? Purva,
Um,
what about you?
yeah, so I think overall, when I see women who are actually as a developer role in Web3, I think they are quite very less. I have always, in any of the hackathons or hacker houses that I have been to, which are not only women hacker houses, I think it's just two or three in each of the hacker house, which you see are actually women developers. And even in, I think in ETH, when there was ETH India 2 3 years back, there were 15 teams that were finalists, and only one team had women, which was sad to see. So I think it really needs a boost for women who are developing. And I also feel that women don't come upfront to participate in all these conferences or travel to these conferences. And I think that needs a little bit more boost given the current situation. Overall, women in technology are less, and if you see the core developers in blockchain, I find are even lesser than that. I also had an event organized for women in Web3 when we were launching TPG chapter in USA. The participation by women was, I think, very few. There also I encountered that the women in blockchain space are actually very less, and all of these things need to be boosted. Maybe through conducting such events, women only events. You bring in all women developers and all these things. But yeah, I really think there needs to be a boost. So looking at the women participation, I see everywhere when I go as a developer.
I agree upon that with you. I guess we need more conferences and everything that will focus not only women, but that will focus one agenda that there is a need to equalize gender ratios in this space. Great. Mehak, I guess you were speaking before I moved on to Pooja. Can you speak?
Yeah, like adding upon the Purva's point, I completely agree with her. And I feel that it is not about only Web3 and all, but in overall technological things and the new emerging techs, we have seen a very less contribution of women. And there is, I think, some of the social resistance that comes into picture. Like you may heard like from boys' side, or maybe just as generally that girls are not good in tech or they don't have analytical minds. But I don't think that it is completely true, or I completely disagree with these points. Coming into Web3 space, the best thing that I like about Web3 space is it is quite supportive space, as it is a new emerging technology that is coming, and there is very less strength into Web3 as compared to other technologies that have already emerged. So Web3 is a more community driven as compared to other technologies. So we find a better community support in Web3 as compared to other technologies. Coming to about women in the blockchain space, and also like Purva was mentioning about the hackathons and all, we have seen a very less contribution from women's side. And I feel like Twitter emails like these, organized by Cool Audits Today or any other platforms, they really help us to grow further and to raise a voice for women and to even motivate them that there are many women who are there and you can also contribute towards it.
Definitely, definitely, Mehak. Thank you for sharing that. I agree with you on that also. So, yeah, moving on to Nida. Do you have any experiences similar to what Mehak, Purva, and Aditi said?
As I said, when I attended my first hacker house, I got to see women in organizing, in tech, in mentorship everywhere. It was completely new thing for me because in our college and all, have seen a lot of women in organizing, but when it comes to tech or developing, it has been very low. So that was in real what eye opening for me. So way back after that, what we decided coming back to our college is that we planned on conducting events and making sure of the women ratio that is participating in each and every event. So that I think made a bit of change in the event style which happened before and after. Because we could see that women participation coming more when we started to look on to the ratio each and every time we conducted an event. That's one thing. And other than that, I would say basically there is a lack of confidence when it comes to the developing side in case of women, because even in my early stage, whenever I get to check on for any opportunity, I would check on each and every skill set. If anything doesn't match over my skill set, I would just cut it off. But when it comes to the boys side, I have heard from different perspectives, so that I'm speaking. So from boys' side perspective, I have heard that even there is 10 skill sets that the company is looking for. If they find one skill set matching with theirs, they go for it. But when it comes to women, we look on to match at least 80% of the skill set, then only we think we are able to apply for it. So that kind of lack of confidence is something we need to clear up in women's side, because even though there may be for sure no one is perfect in any ways. Even if you could find at least one thing matching your interest, go for it. That kind of confidence is something we have to inculcate within the women in technology space. I feel so.
I agree with that. So just yeah, I had a chance to attend one of amazing sessions just the other day where I heard a fact that I would like to share with the speakers. So it's a very funny thing to say, but it is true, unfortunately. So it said that about 4 in 10 men around the age group of 18 to 29, that makes about 43%, say that they have ever invested in, traded, or used a cryptocurrency. That is, if we compare that number with women, it belongs only to 90% of the women in the same age group that said that they ever heard or ever used cryptocurrency. So even if we move forward from the development perspective or the mentorships, why do you think there is such a huge difference in gender ratios when it comes to even managing financial instruments in crypto? Because I guess most of us are, very comfortable with traditional finance, but once we move and look for the crypto as a financial instrument, I guess there is some hesitation. Why do you think it's there? Aditi, can you take it up?
I think not only crypto, many of the girls are afraid to take on even the small financial responsibilities like cash or bank transactions, or it starts right there because I think from childhood itself, we are being treated like you don't do anything, our parents handle everything for us. Whereas might be true for many cases, but boys they take on responsibilities like जो होगा देखा जाएगा, and they do things, they experiment a lot, whereas I don't think we do. And I have experienced that with me. And the moment that I started realizing that I need to experiment more, so even if I have done pretty much of losses in trade, that is okay. But yeah, after I started experimenting enough, that is when I got the confidence of actually like handling the financial parts of, like, trying to be independent is what I think in the early stages is required for actually gaining this confidence.
That makes sense. Yes, I agree with you. Mac, would you like to add something to it?
एज लाइक रीति वाज मेंशनिंग कि चाइल्डहुड से वो एक सिनेरियो क्रिएट किया जाता है कि जो हमारे घर में अगर बॉय होता है या गर्ल होती है तो उसमें एक डिफरेंशिएटर रहता है कि पेरेंट्स भी उस पे ज़्यादा ट्रस्ट करते हैं कि जैसे भाई के साथ जा रहे हो तो भाई को ही वो देंगे कि हाँ, दीज़ आर द फाइनेंसेस दैट ओके आई एम गिविंग यू 5000 रुपए एंड मेंटेन इट एंड मैनेज इट अकॉर्डिंगली। बट दे नेवर गिव दैट मनी इन हैंड इज़ रिक्वायर्ड आई फील टू ट्रेड। इवन व्हेन वी गो फॉर शॉपिंग एंड ऑल वी रिक्वायर दैट मनी इन हैंड टू गेट दैट कॉन्फिडेंस कि हाँ, वो पैसा हम सँभाल भी सकते हैं। And I don't feel that it is like it should be done because घरों पे भी जो women's होती हैं they are the money savers. They have a lot. They even save even a bit of the penny in their pockets and they even invest better in the things. जब वो घर पे वो हैंडल कर सकती हैं, वो बेटर उसका आउटकम्स निकाल सकती है उस मनी को सेव करके. सो इन द बिजनेस ऑल्सो दे कैन डू इट. एंड आई फील बिजनेस वर्ल्ड में बहुत ज़्यादा बैरियर रहता है विमेन के लिए कि उनको ट्रस्ट नहीं किया जाता। इवन इन्वेस्टमेंट साइड पे भी वो थोड़े-से बैरियर्स देखने को मिलते हैं, फ्रॉम द फाउंडर्स पर्सपेक्टिव कि विमेन को इतना ट्रस्ट ही नहीं किया जाता कि उनको उतना फंड्स दिया जाए। उनके लिए वो एक बैरियर्स रहते हैं हमेशा कि विमेन है और उन पे वो बर्डन्स रहते हैं हमेशा कि वो फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है। बिकॉज़ फैमिलीज़ में भी हमें ऐसे ही ट्रीट किया जाता है ना कि वन्स यू मैरी यू आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन सम अदर पर्सन। बिफोर मैरिज यू आर डिपेंडेंट अपॉन योर फादर। तो हमें कभी फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट देखा ही नहीं जाता। Once you start seeing a woman as financially independent identity, then you can recognize that she can also handle that money in hand. She can also trade better in the world. और वो एनालिटिकल माइंडसेट वाला भी एक हमेशा पता नहीं क्यों सोसाइटी में क्वेश्चन रहता है कि दे कैन नॉट रियलाइज दैट एनालिटिकल माइंडसेट कि वो उतना अच्छा ट्रेड नहीं कर सकती तब मेन कर सकते हैं, बट दैट इज नॉट द केस. इट इज ऑल डिपेंडेंट अपॉन द ट्रायल एंड एरर. जिसने भी आज तक ट्रेड किया सबने एक बार लॉस ज़रूर फेस किया ही होगा. बट व्हेन अ वुमन मेक्स इट, इट बिकम्स अ क्वेश्चन ऑन हर पर्सनैलिटी कि यार ये तो लॉस ही करेगी या शी कैन नॉट डू दैट ट्रेडिंग. बट व्हेन मेन्स डू इट, इट इज ऑल अबाउट कि ट्रेडिंग है, लॉस एंड प्रॉफिट तो होता ही है. So I feel it is more the barrier of the society and not about that individual identities.
Okay, Mehak. Yeah, I do understand your point, but as we already mentioned, that community is something that we can hope in Web3 to see and gain help from. I feel that community support is great in this industry with respect to the traditional technological advancements that we have been seeing. So moving on to Purva. So why do you think that such disbalance is seen when it comes to managing financial instruments? I was hoping to see more towards the point of view using crypto, managing crypto, something if you have any point of view from that.
I think it's simply an education gap. I think you are influenced by people you are surrounded with. Maybe there are less women who are trading, so the people you are surrounded with affects your actions too. So I simply think there should be more education. Even if there are a lot of resources that are still existing, they actually need to reach to people. And I think some finances, despite gender or despite even your degree or your majors, it's just something that you should be learning in today's world, because I think money making is that not that much of a challenge how much it was few years back. And everyone needs to educate themselves about how finance is actually working today. And Web3 being the next revolutionizing thing in finance, I think education on how cryptocurrencies are working needs to be more reaching to not only women but also men. And yeah, women definitely need to, yeah, it might be a little harder to reach it to them because their circle might not be still in Web3. So yeah, I think there should be focus on creating some communities that focus on financial education and focusing on including more women into it. So yeah, I think there's more of an education gap than. other challenges that are existing.
Okay, okay, Pooja, thank you for sharing that. Nita, would you like to join what Purva said as there being an education gap?
Yeah, as far as I know, the women are the best financial managers. But when it comes to risk taking, they are the weaker ones as well as because they find it quite difficult to take risk in life in every aspect. But as Puva said, I completely agree because even if you have a great circle who is very much into trading, who is very much into this finance management and so on, you are also getting into their level and you are also being able to understand what's happening in the crypto world. And you'll also get into it gradually. So it's more of the circle you come across. So basically, if you are being in a circle where there is no such talks or something like that, you're not getting much info into it. So it's more of the circle you get in, as well as so when it comes to crypto, we are not going to check on for resources. It's basically it needs to reach to us in such a way that it should come as on a day to day basis, like a simple thing. And then we get to research about it and then we start in investing it. So it's more of like we don't go for search the resources, but the resources getting into us. And when it comes to the community side, we know that there are a lot of communities which is educating about Web3, about blockchain spaces, about trading. But we know we need more of hands-on experience as well as how about bringing more of trading classes live? That would make different impact on this generation and on this thing.
Okay, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. Like the crux of everything is like there are education gaps, there are some hindrance when it comes to reaching out to people and joining some circles that are more crypto natives. I agree with that, with all the speakers. So just to bring close to the end of our Twitter space, I'd just like to ask what advice would you give other women looking to enter or advance in the Web3 field? Either they be switching from Web2 or maybe starting from the scratch. So, starting with Mehak, what advice would you like to give?
I would say कि just मतलब sometimes when people try to enter into some space, they start learning it as a theoretical perspective maybe. But instead of that, I would say कि just enter into that space, do some projects like Nida and Pura mentioned about their own projects and all. So when you start doing something, then you feel that okay, this is the need, this is the next step that I would need. Now I need to know about NFTs and all. So once you just know about the terms and all, and these terms can be easily we can all easily learn about through various workshops that are happening. I think in the Web3 space, there are a lot more workshops as compared to other technologies that is happening in these days. बहुत सारी workshops होते रहती हैं, online sessions बहुत सारे होते रहते हैं. Do join them, and after that, once you just get the crux of these things, just know the basics. Start working on some projects. Start thinking of creating an impact rather than just learning it as a subject. कि हाँ मैं इस फील्ड में इसको अप्लाई कर सकती हूँ, and this is the field where an impact can be created with Web3 as compared to Web2, या फिर इसमें better advancement हो सकती है टेक्नोलॉजी में. Stick to that field and then start exploring that field. उसमें apply करने का try करो, and then you will be able to do something and learn that and become a master in that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, Mac. Thank you for sharing that. Moving forward to Aditi, what advice would you like to give?
I would say explore and explore until you find what's right for you. And maybe sometimes you'll waste some time on things that you might not like ahead going further, but it will still contribute to the learning you have, and it will surely help you later on. And yeah, apart from that, just stay in the industry for the tech and community. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Purva, what about you?
I would just say go for it and explore and get your hands dirty with the technology. That's because I'm a person with technical background. I would say get your hands dirty with technology, experiment with each of the protocols if you want to get to know more about Web3. I think I still have my family members who are skeptical about how cryptocurrencies are going to work and try to tell me to go come out of Web3 a bit. But I think I'm strong in my head about I want to make a career in Web3 because I believe in the technology. And I would also suggest go and attend meetups, technical talks, everything about whatever is going on Web3. Good thing about Web3 is that it is organizing these kind of events where they provide an opportunity for you to enter the space. So go and attend them. I met amazing people in the events that I have attended. Some person who I've met people who I got like a good team to build with my hackathon projects. I met the current project that I'm building in also in a meetup. So just go for it and try to attend and merge yourself in the technology as much as you can.
Thank you, Purva. Nida, what about you?
Okay, the first thing I would say is to get into communities. If you find a slight interest in any sort of technology, there are thousands of communities who are supporting those technologies. So just find any community. And for sure, the community is a space where you can find the best minds in those technologies. Like network with those people, get more get more understanding on the technology you have been found of, and network those with those people. That would be the one big thing you can do when you get into communities. And gradually, once you get started with communities and once you get started with networking with the best minds in those technologies, you will gradually start to learn about them, will learn about that technology. And once it's done, for sure you are in the tech space and you are able to do whatever with your technology, with your interest. So I would say that the best thing to go on for it communities. They have several thousands of events happening in each and every hour. Even though one event is happening right now, parallelly you can see thousands of events happening. So that's the world space. Like you have a great space, Twitter space is there for when it comes to technology, and you have different communities for different technologies. For blockchain, you do have a lot of communities, great events, workshops, webinars happening. So first, get into those space, understand the people, and just meet with great minds, and then start learning. That would I say.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess our audience already understood the crux how we can switch from Web 2 to Web 3 and even begin from scratch. So, just to coming to the last question of this session, joining hands means just seeing all the projects that you're working on. So, let's say, how can Quill Audits, the Phoenix Guild, Swapso, and other projects that you all are working on can join hands together and help create more opportunities from an education perspective, from an organization perspective for women. Any thoughts on that from any of the speakers? I guess Mehak can take that.
I think that Quill Audit is already serving many people. They are spreading awareness a lot. Like I even came to know about them a year before, and I also learned a lot through these people and all. Like Preetham personally, I would say. And so even people can check out their websites and all, learn few things that are freely available on their websites and all. Even when I talk about Swapso, it's a decentralized education. You can learn about blockchain even at our platform. And there are various, and even you can buy for customized time period. I would say just buy for 1 day or 2 day, just to get the experience of Web3, that how a thing that is decentralized can affect you and can impact you much better than a Web2 space. That how you get that ownership, how you experience a marketplace of Web3. So these are the things that you can experience as a user that will help you to realize the impact of Web3. And I would say that the auditing is a very key skill that you can also learn through Cool Audits or any other platform even. But it is one of the skills that you can learn and get good opportunities through it. Even I just want to mention that if you are a developer or if not even, then there are various opportunities in blockchain space. As a developer, if I would say, then the average package of a developer is around 12 lakhs. But if I talk about a average package of a blockchain developer, it's around 18 lakhs. So don't you can even if you are a developer, then you can get a specialization in blockchains also. If you're not a developer, then also there are various opportunities in blockchain space, whether it is even there are many people who are doing mentoring in Web3 space and all. So you can also suit in these profiles too, managing communities and all. That can be your area. So these are the opportunities, and blockchain is a very wide space. So do check out all these things and try exploring it. This may not be the best space for you, but it may attract you and you may find good opportunities into it.
Okay, thank you, Mehak. I guess we can explore on that point. So, Purva, would you like to share any creative thoughts on that?
I think everyone, the people who are in this space, should organize kind of workshops or hackathons or educational seminars to get more people into this space. So I think, yeah, I have seen Quill Audits too pretty much involved in all these activities, and it can collaborate hands with these education communities like TPG, Superwoman DAO, or more of them outside these communities to conduct such sessions and include more people in Web3.
Okay, yeah, that I guess we can definitely create some more opportunities working on some maybe with Phoenix Guild in the future or some other community heavy points that can, provide some a welcoming space for women. It's an open question. If any of other speaker would like to take it forward, we can. Otherwise, I guess that was the last question of our Twitter space. Aditi, Nada, would you like to have some thoughts on this?
Nope, I think
I guess.
everything is covered basically.
Okay, okay, great, great. So I guess I guess I should end up with this Twitter space. Thank you, Mahek, Purva, Nida, and Aditi, for your time and for sharing your experience in the crypto space and Web3 and the challenges that you face along the way and how you actually overcome them. I would also like to thank our audience and community partners, Code Edu, IDC, Devstation, EduHub, Algo CS, SOS Tech, Exshiksha, Code 8, and Code in Blocks for their support throughout the session. I guess we can end the session and speakers and audience can drop out. Thank you for your time, everyone. See you in the next session.
Thanks a lot for inviting us, and thank you to all the audience for listening. Create an impact in Web3 space. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.